Hey everyone out there in the land of YouTube, this is Annette Dion. I am the host and founder of the Psychic News Network. Thank you for joining me. Today is Monday, May 9th, 2022. Just a couple of bookkeeping items. One is that if you'd like to book a reading, just send an email to annettedionpsychic@gmail.com. I do have time this week if you want to get right in. And so annettedionpsychic@gmail.com. And also, as I always want to remind people, please join us for Grassroots of Democracy by sending an email to grassrootsofdemocracy@gmail.com and type AYE in the subject line. We have a lot of work to do to save our democracy, which is in peril. All right, when we last left our story, we were all reeling from the leak about the Supreme Court Justice getting ready to overturn women's rights. It's been a weekend of pondering that, and also, please watch Church of Spirituality. I did talk about the feminine and, like lots of stuff about that topic, and besides, the sermons are uplifting, and please don't be put off by the word church. I put a lot of love and energy into it, and it's all free. So, yeah, so Roe versus Wade and the suppression of women and actually promoting that women have less rights and we are second-class citizens. What I have heard over the weekend on the news, different, say, Republican governors being interviewed, like, for example, let's see, what's his name? Tate Reeves, the governor of Mississippi. It's terrifying. It's terrifying how radical and absolute and extreme that these people that are so-called pro-life, when they're actually voicing their feelings, and they're like, there's no exception for a very young girl who is old enough to get pregnant. There's no exception for incest. There's no exception for rape. And there are no exceptions. It's completely across the board. And to hear this guy, stumble and fumble around, like, how are you going to take care of these children that you're proposing that they all need to be born into dire circumstances, threatening the life of the mother and all that? It's astounding. I'm still reeling from it, and I know that women just all over are reeling from it, because we've never seen anything like this, and as we have heard again and again, this is a threat to all of our rights. If that doesn't get you out there, I'm not pointing any fingers to anybody in particular. I'm just saying, if that doesn't get you out there working hard to save democracy, worst possible case scenario, all our rights will be taken away, and we will be going in the direction of North Korea at the rate that the GOP Republicans are going. And today was May 9th, and it was Putin's victory day. That's what he called it. And we'll look at that. We'll look at how he's feeling. It looked like North Korea, if you saw any of the footage of his military parade. It's always astounding to me how they're just like so neatly in a row, making these, patterns that you can see from above that look like a flag, that are just every hair in place, every sock in place, every shoe perfectly shined. And, I'm reminded that Trump wanted that for America, because he was whining about not getting his military parade because he went to France on Bastille Day. He saw they had, I don't know, some kind of little military parade there. But France is a democracy. But he was really hell-bent on, he wanted his military parade, and he wanted something like what Putin just did in Russia today, and what Kim Jong-un does, and what China does which is frightening as all craziness. Anyway, I know it's a lot. I just jumped from Roe versus Wade to Trump wanting a military parade. Sounds like a song. I should write a song. Perhaps I will. So I don't really know where to start. Let's start with Roe versus Wade. We're in a tight spot. The Democrats and people, Republicans too, that are decent, and people that use their brains and their rational minds, the non-Trumpsters have to speak out. So come to our meetings and we'll figure out what to do. We are figuring it out. Let's start with Putin's Victory Day parade. Let's see how he's feeling. He didn't look as, what I saw of him, he didn't look well, but he didn't look like he was going to fall over. So perhaps he had enough coffee to keep him, going. And the people of Russia, I can see, the old school people of Russia, when I see footage of Russian people that were at the event, I can tell psychically that a lot of them do believe that this was some kind of military operation. There were fears in the Western world that he would use May 9th as a day to declare war, but from my recollection, he declared war on February 24th. I remember the moment. So how it's going for Putin, I don't feel like he's well, obviously, physically, health-wise. So I think we all kind of know that, and I keep hearing people talk about that he's having some kind of cancer operation, and I don't know where they're getting that news. Psychically I can say, yeah, probably. It seems like it, but I'm just saying, I haven't had that confirmed in a news story. So if you have a news story and you want to post a link about Putin having cancer surgery, I don't even know how we would find that out. So let's take a look. How's our, I used to call him our buddy Vlad before, not that he was our buddy, but just jokingly, but now it's too heinous to joke about him, that's for sure. So how is he feeling since the parade? I'll tell you one thing. I'm grateful that he didn't use it to declare war, because there were people that were worried about that. I thought that there might be a lot more explosions. I don't know if there were. I didn't feel like he would just let it go well, it's a pretty big parade. So, how Putin's feeling right now? Defeated. Not knowing which way to turn next. So this is how Putin's feeling. Defeated, not knowing where to go next. He is feeling defeated. I know he's delusional and he talks himself into thinking that he's winning, but I feel like no matter how many people lie to him and his cabinet or whoever, his military generals and all that, which a lot of them are dead now, I feel like they have, no matter what they say, he knows what's going on. He has the facts, even though he's trying to delude himself. The Three of Cups, Putin is going to still be seeing it as a victory. He's feeling like this, oh my gosh, they're losing so much money. Russia really doesn't have anything right now. He doesn't know, he hasn't decided what to do yet, but he's going to just mask everything by keeping on talking about it as if it's a victory. I have Padre Pio behind me to remind you all to pray. Pray to Padre Pio. They're praying all over the world. Thanks to my friend Rena, who watches my videos, for bringing me the blanket in honor of her mother. Speaking of mothers, I hope you had a nice Mother's Day. It was a nice day here. It was really nice. Accentuate the positive. Be grateful for what we have, right? So let's go a little bit further into how they're feeling in Ukraine. So there's what's going on with Putin. I have to mention that I have not been able to shake the image in my mind, for entertainment purposes only, and this was from the start, that I feel people around him conspiring to take him out. And I feel the Russian people, I still feel a coup. I do. I think it's just a matter of time. Let's ask the pendulum, shall we? By the way, the pendulum class on Saturday was wonderful. Thanks for those who came. I have one more on May 14th, this Saturday. I'll probably just take a couple weeks break, and then I'll go back, and on Saturday afternoons I'll be teaching more pendulum classes. So you didn't miss out. I'm just working on the schedule. So is Putin, let me see. How much longer is it going to be before, wait, let's do it this way. Are the people in fact going to turn on Putin? We'll just put it that way. Are they actually going to turn on Putin? Yes, that's a pretty strong yes. The Russian people will turn on Putin. This is months ago before the war started, when he was threatening war. I was saying, I feel like there are people around him, they're the oligarchs, and they're conspiring on how to... Oh. Yeah. I mean, and does it really take a psychic? Because we would figure that anyway. But it is a psychic impression in the sense that I can see it. You know what I mean? I can kind of see it. I'll be teaching classes about how to be more psychic also, because we're all psychic. How to be more psychic. Oh, by the way, I was going to come on Saturday night, but I had done such a long show with Corey the night before that I just had used up too many psychic brain cells. So, it's usually every other day. Maybe Wednesday I'll go live. Very likely. Stay tuned. Let's look at Ukraine. I actually feel like in Ukraine, I feel like they were really on edge about today, and that now that the day has passed, it's a little bit of an exhale. I mean, not to underestimate how bad the damage is. They got all those people out of the steel factory. That's a miracle. That is a miracle. I ordered a book from Thrift Books. Is it right here? Yes. And I'm kind of just sharing this with you. An old book called People of the Lie. The Hope for Healing Human Evil. This is a book that was written a long time ago by the man who wrote The Road Less Traveled, Scott Peck. Anyway, I just started to read it a little bit. I thought I'd recommend it because I think we have to understand evil. It's not for the faint of heart, just so you know. Let's see how the people of Ukraine are feeling. Anyway, I'm a little bit like wanting to know more about the workings of the evil mind because it's better to be informed, right? The people of Ukraine, oh yeah, they feel very much that they're still in the grips of evil because they are. This just even looks like Ukraine right now. That's where they're at right now. They don't know how to fight Satan. And they are really praying. They are surrendering to the higher power. This isn't a surrender, but this is the Ukrainians. You get to a certain point, just the human psyche, where eventually there's no place else to turn but to spirit. So I kind of feel like that's what's going on right now. Let's keep Ukraine really strongly in our prayers. They are suffering beyond what words can express. I had a dream. I had a dream the other night that I was being chased by a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And I was very, very, very scared. Oh, it was so scary. And And then I woke up and I recognized that I was picking up on the collective energy of what it must be like to be in Ukraine with those Russian tanks coming at you with the destruction, and it was horrible. I was glad I woke up. It's a mixture of a war zone and Jurassic Park, I guess, in my psyche. So it was. Anyway, I dropped some cards. Hang on. All right, wait, I have a list. I'm kind of like going slow. It's 15 minutes and I've barely gotten to the questions. So that's Ukraine and Putin. Keep praying for Ukraine. Prayer works. I just looked at my list and I'm like, do I want to get to DeSantis right now? I just want to take a peek at DeSantis and the book banning, because they're upon review of the math books that he banned because of critical race theory, which makes no sense. These guys aren't making any sense. Upon review, they couldn't find anything. The people that review, I guess it's committees that review the books that are used in the curriculum, and I heard that one was actually from Michigan, not Florida. But anyway, upon examination of the books, they didn't find any critical race theory. I've never seen a bunch of hooligans, I don't know where that word came from, like the GOP, like these governors, create so many problems. So many problems. That's becoming like their brand. You know, like all these Republicans, excuse me, there's a lot of tree pollen in the air today. A lot of these Republicans, they're getting in office and they're making a mess. That's what they're making, a mess where there doesn't need to be a mess. It's like, why do you need to mess with women's rights? It wasn't a problem. I know there's a lot of history behind it and everything, but it wasn't a problem. I mean, there's so many problems that need to be addressed, and they're just creating more problems, and they're not addressing the problems. This is Ron DeSantis right now. This is the nefariousness. This card comes up. This represents him frequently. This is Ron DeSantis right now. He's losing the fight with Disney, and I'm picking up that Ron DeSantis wants to run for president, but I don't think he's having an easy time figuring out how that can be done. And just in terms of the critical race theory, that I think that because they didn't find anything in the math books that he was claiming had, I don't know, made white kids feel bad about themselves. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. We know that, right? So this is where DeSantis is right now. So these things that he's complaining about as being a problem, he can't really prove they're a problem. And I see that he's slightly absorbed in the idea of running for president, but he can't figure it out. It looks like he can't figure out the funding, the money. And remember, I've always said about him, he's been involved in some illicit, what looks like stealing from the citizens. And I think he did steal COVID money, right? Everybody got the lowdown on that? Got the 411 on that? I think he did. I think he has. Okay, I have a question. It's a yes or a how long. How long will the GOP continue these ridiculous culture wars? They just keep coming up with more and more and more. Okay. Roe versus Wade is kind of beyond a culture war, but we'll get to that. How much longer will the GOP just keep making up these culture wars? Is it going to be 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months? Now it's going around in a circle. Okay, so it's going in it's a counterclockwise circle, which is telling me that there's a lot of negativity that needs to be cleared. Obviously. So let's do that, and then let's see if we can ask the question again. You know, and also, it seems like it remains to be seen how much longer they'll continue this. Okay, so it's cleared. So let's go. Okay, so how much longer is the GOP going to make up these different culture war issues? 1 month, 2, 3, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months. May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Seven months? 7 months? About 7 more months, but that's a little bit past the election. It raised more question marks in my head, that answer. Well, we'll keep looking into it. We'll keep looking into it. If the pendulum doesn't give me a straight answer, it means that there's a lot of things still in play. But it looks like about 6 or 7 months. Which kind of puts us around roughly a little after election time. But that's interesting, because if it's going to be about 7 more months that they'll do this culture war thing, that's indicative of them realizing that it doesn't work. That's what I see. Okay, next question. So we found out today, do you remember in 2008 when John McCain suddenly, we thought he was going to pick some guy in politics who was a Republican, who was kind of, the old-fashioned typical Republican as a running mate. And then all of a sudden, I can't even forget the moment that somebody told me that John McCain had chosen this Sarah Palin, who nobody ever heard of, and everybody felt like they got smacked upside the head, like, what? Where'd she come from? And then lo and behold, we find out today there's a Manafort-Putin connection to John McCain having done that. And his daughter Megan, being as nasty as she can show herself to be. I remember when she attacked Marianne Williamson on The View and called her an anti-vaxxer, and it was awful. Megan McCain was awful to people. So, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. As much as I admire John McCain, he was doing nefarious things. Not always, but he wasn't. He had a dark side too. So let's take a look real quick at what, I don't even know who broke that news. I don't know if that was in the Esper book. Maybe. We'll get to that too. Too much news. It's interesting because I'm looking at the John McCain, the Sarah Palin connection and all that. I'm getting this message. He was coming from lack, L-A-C-K. That John McCain, he was coming from lack. He thought that would help him in some way. Oh, that's interesting. So he must have gotten some money for... That's a long, convoluted situation. Let me tell you that. And the Justice card is coming up. So I kind of get the sense that John McCain was always weighing out, what am I doing? Should I be doing this? Back and forth, and a little bit afraid that he would get caught. So when he had to concede to Barack Obama, when Barack Obama won, I almost feel like that was kind of a coming clean moment for him inside his head. You know what I mean? Because I know that he feels, I just sense that he felt like he was doing the wrong thing. He just got enticed by the money. And I'm getting the sense, I kind of feel his energy. I'm getting the sense too that they made it look so easy, and he kind of went along with what, like Manafort is an evil, horrible human being that puts people in positions of power that have no business being in positions of power through corruption and just so many different ways. But I feel like John McCain, he got lured in by the money, by how easy they were making it seem like it would be for him to become president, and he didn't. So, there's a couple things. he didn't become president. And you know, so we kind of, I don't know, we just kind of, we got lucky. We've gotten lucky. Let's hope our luck doesn't run out. We'll look at that too. But we got lucky because McCain having the nefariousness of Manafort and this, I haven't read the whole story, but I'm just reading it psychically. That was a slippery slope too. And so Obama got in, and then, you know, with the Mark Esper book coming out, and I guess it came out, and all that's in there, and we'll get to that in a minute. I'll try not to make this really too terribly long, but the Princess of Swords is coming up here. There's a Cindy. I feel like John McCain's wife caught on to it. I feel a lot of guilt. I feel when John McCain was in the physical that he was tormented by a conscience because he had one. He did it, and I think that Cindy, obviously she must have known his wife and got him to be feeling guilty about it. I dropped a card again. And it's the Justice card. The Justice card is kind of trying to jump out at me for some reason tonight. Pray tell, what are you trying to tell me? We shall see. All right, next on my list. Let's see. Let's go to Mark Esper's new book. Okay, I saw Mark Esper on Fox News being asked a question about if Donald Trump is dangerous to our democracy, and he took him a while to get to the word yes, but it was affirmative on Fox News. On Fox News. A lot of people have a big problem with Mark Esper waiting until now to tell us all the very dangerous things that Trump was involved in wanting to do. Remember when he wanted to nuke the hurricanes? I am telling you what. These people that go to those rallies are lost. We have to pray for them. They have no idea. Anyway, when I mentioned before on that June 1st, 2020, when the Black Lives Matter movement was going full force and they were in front of the White House and Trump was hiding in the bunker, he wasn't inspecting it. He wasn't with the white glove inspecting the bunker like he said he was, because presidents don't do that. I really felt that he was on the phone with Putin. You know, it just makes me angry just to think about it. Asking Putin what to do about all these pesky protesters, because that's how much it angered him. That people were practicing their First Amendment right to peacefully protest. Made him that angry. If you have a person in your life that's a MAGA person, don't worry, just pray for them. Don't get in discussions with them. Just be nice and congenial. Avoid the topic of politics. Don't make it us versus them, because we need them on board with us when they're ready to come around. Okay, so Mark Esper's book. So anyway, people have a problem with that he waited so long to come out with a book, but I actually do kind of feel, as much as I couldn't stand him when he was, I believe he was the defense secretary, right? As much as I could not stand Mark Esper, he used to annoy me every single time he got up there. I kind of do understand why he stayed in the position and didn't just walk away. And that's my theory about why so many people in government in their elder years, you know, like Pelosi and Joe Biden saying he's going to run again in 2024. I feel like, you know, Mark Esper was in a position like say a Pelosi. If you were in a position like that and you felt like, oh, you were handing it off, you know, sort of handing the baton to somebody who was younger and very capable, then that would be one thing. But when you don't have anybody who's going to step into your shoes and do a competent job, it would be really hard to get out of that position. especially if you were in Esper's shoes and you saw how dangerous it would be to not have somebody who is going to completely oversee Trump. So I get his point. As much as I'm not a fan, I do get his point. From a psychic perspective, I do think he's telling the truth. I might get his book. We'll see. There are so many books. I have all these books about Trump on Audible. There's hundreds of them. Hundreds of them. Alexander Vindman, he wrote one too, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he did. I forget what it's called. So, Mark Esper, okay, is this going to make a difference? Is basically what I'm asking. Yes, it's adding to the trove of evidence. To the trove of evidence against Trump. Trump absolutely, I mean, I've heard lawyers say you have to be able to prove intent. Intent to disrupt the government. Intent to commit a crime. And all this evidence is pointing to Trump intended to incite a coup and to overthrow the government. Trump intended to destroy the United States of America. And Esper's book adds fuel to the fire and more to the January 6th committee, more for Merrick Garland. We'll get to him, maybe. I know people get so mad. It's understandable. As I look at the High Priestess, Merrick Garland is just not showing his cards, so to speak. That's where we're at with that. So that book is important, and what's coming out, gosh, it's amazing. It's like a library of information about what happened on January 6th. An absolute library of information. Volumes and volume. I mean, we're talking thousands of texts, thousands of pages of reports and documents. It's just amazing. It goes on and on. So let's take a really quick look at where Trump is right now. When we last left our story, he was endorsing J.D. Vance, and then J.D. Vance went on to win. We have a lot of work to do. And I didn't get that J.D. Vance was going to win, but maybe that was the pendulum actually saying he's not going to ultimately win. All right, so how's Trump doing right now? How's Trump doing right now? How's he feeling right now? What's going on with Mr. Big Giant Cheeto Head? Makes me feel better. Oh, interesting. He's trying to hold it together. This is Trump's, he's trying to hold it together. Thinking about how he can overcome obstacles. And the Six of Pentacles. He actually thinks he's going to get away with everything. Isn't that interesting? That's how he's feeling right now. Donald J. Trump is feeling right now like he's going to get away with everything. So let's look into that a little bit further, shall we? It gets to a point where, honestly, as a psychic on YouTube, you're like, I can't believe we're still reading about this guy. We thought it would be over by now. We didn't really think it would be over by now, psychically, but just logically. He's not the president. Why are we still talking about him 2 years later? Never a dull moment. So that's how he's feeling. He's feeling like he's going to get off scot-free. He is Scottish, Mr. Trump. Pretty sure, yeah, he is. So what actually is going to happen? The Tower card, his crimes are going to come back to bite. This is justice. So how he was feeling was he's feeling like he's going to get away with all of it. But I see disruption of his story in his head, not believing that he's actually getting in trouble. And this does feel like the legal system, it's authority. Like authority moves in. He's never had an authority. He's an authoritarian. Trump is an authoritarian, and he's never had any concept that an authority could come after him. And that's what's going to catch him by surprise and take him off guard. Now, a lot of people are asking if he is going to be questioned. People, it's so much to keep up with. Let's just see if he's going to be questioned by the January 6th committee. At least that. Is Donald J. Trump going to be questioned by the January 6th committee? Oh, he's gonna try to say no, which is foolish. This is him. This is like stagnant negotiations, like stuck negotiations. He's gonna foolishly dance around it and continue to lie. Donald Trump is gonna continue to lie about, throwing out these, executive privilege and all these, the January 6th committee is a witch hunt and all that stuff. And then the Seven of Pentacles, it's looking really bad for him. I know, we've been saying that for years now. It's like, we have. But it doesn't go on forever. You can't, I mean, the law of karma is, you don't keep putting out evil and horribleness and end up smelling like a rose. You just don't. And a month from today, it just occurred to me, a month from today are the hearings, the public hearings, where we're gonna all get out our popcorn and our Twizzlers and our snacks, and we're gonna watch TV and see what they have to say. Yes, we are. You got that to look forward to. What's next? I wrote down, is the DOJ asleep? Or are we getting closer? Let's read on that. Is the DOJ asleep? Merrick! Oh, Merrick! Merrick! Whenever I see Merrick Garland, we see very little of Merrick Garland, but whenever I see him, he seems fine. He does. It's like, it's weird. Is he a Scorpio? I forgot. If he is, that would make a lot of sense, actually. I think he might be. I will look that up. He's got Scorpio. Merrick Garland has some Scorpio. Is the DOJ asleep? Months ago, I said that I saw that Merrick Garland was going to pull in a lot of, he was going to start delegating because there's so much work to do. And I feel like they've probably increased the staff on the DOJ. Remember, he was calling for more lawyers and all that. He was asking Biden for more lawyers, and yeah, so there's just a lot to get through. But whenever I've seen Merrick Garland, I read his energy. He seems like he's just going along, like, we're chugging along, doing our thing. That's the sense that I get. And the Chariot card, when it comes in, it's going to come in full force. Wow, I really got that. And the January 6th committee hearings are going to be building a strong case. It's interesting because what's popping back into my mind is like Mark Esper being on Fox News and the Fox News interviewer, I don't know his name. I don't really follow them, but just seeing that little clip where he actually asked the question, do you think Donald Trump is dangerous for this country? That seemed pivotal to me. That did seem pivotal. Well, King of Swords. King of Swords is, that's justice. It's getting so scary, and people in this country are so scared, and so many things are building up in terms of, oh my gosh, we're losing our democracy. We're losing our democracy. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So many things are turning up that are so scary. Roe versus Wade definitely being the most glaringly horrifying. We'll look at that. That it can't, it's like, can't keep putting, what do they say? All right, I'll use all the, colloquialisms. And you can't unscramble eggs. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. All those sayings. That's how, the Mark Esper was asked that question on Fox News, and he said, yes, he does think that Donald Trump is dangerous. On Fox News. felt pivotal to me. It did. Let's ask the question, are enough American people going to wake up to fighting for our rights, to keep our democracy? Are enough people going to wake up, including some Fox News viewers? We won't get them all, but will enough people? This is interesting. The Three of Cups is a celebratory card. The Knight of Pentacles is this is abundance, an abundance of information. The Two of Cups is compromise. Wow. Well, I'm feeling a little bit optimistic. It's okay to be optimistic. You're allowed to be optimistic. That's called faith. I'm feeling something good coming. Today was an interesting day energetically. I felt like there was, I'm looking at my astrology calendar, like I always look over there. If you wonder what I'm looking at, it's hanging on my wall. And today the moon is in, it was in Leo and it went into Virgo this evening. Like it's in Virgo now. Very good day to get your bookkeeping done. Or clean or you know, something earthy. And today just felt like weird. It felt zany. It felt very like Uranus kind of. Everywhere I looked, it just seemed like people just looked odd. And I don't know. I can't describe it. Maybe somebody can tell me in the chat how their Monday, May 9th went. Just kind of surreal, like, I swear, I'm totally straight. I don't know what it was. It felt weird. Maybe it's the pollen. It's been blowing the wind has been crazy for days and days and days here in Massachusetts. Just really, I don't know. It's things swirling around. Okay, so I mentioned briefly the Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves, and I actually looked him up, and I saw, this is Mississippi, that the governor of Mississippi last month in April was promoting, I guess they have, April is Confederate Heritage Month in Mississippi. This is the same guy who's saying no abortions whatsoever under any circumstances or any conditions. We're going to take care of all the babies and we may, he didn't say this, but he was asked the question, would you go so far as to ban contraceptions? And the answer was affirmative. And this guy, I mean, I'm like, wow. I was literally scared listening to Tate Reeves, the governor of Mississippi. Look it up. If you haven't seen the interview with Chuck, was it Chuck Todd? I think it might have been Chuck Todd. Okay, let's go there. Let's go to The Handmaid's Tale. I'm going to watch one episode of that if I can. People are telling me don't watch it. I don't know. You know, curiosity might get the best of me. Let's ask this. Let's ask if the Supreme Court is going to be called out for lying to the American people. Saying that Roe versus Wade was just pretty much untouchable. It's the law of the land, firmly established 50 years. They lied. Is anything going to happen? I mean, I get the sense about the Supreme Court justices, you know, those 5, Amy Coney Barrett. If you were watching me back then during her confirmation hearings, that woman's voice, it was the strangest thing. That's never happened before, where I couldn't listen to somebody's voice because it was like someone scratching their fingers down the chalkboard. Amy Coney Barrett's voice. And don't even get me started about Brett Kavanaugh. But this is the best that we can do. I wonder what Ketanji Brown Jackson is thinking about, what she's getting herself into. That's a good question. But first, let's ask, what's going to happen with the Supreme Court justices? Are they going to be I don't know, affected by how people are responding. They're going to feel a little bit roped in, but they think that they're all, they think that they're all supreme. They're supreme beings. If it's any consolation, what goes around comes around. They're ruining lives. They're potentially ruining millions upon millions upon millions of Americans' lives. Because this isn't just about a woman losing her rights, if it happens, nationwide. And then Mitch McConnell's over there going, oh yeah, this is going to be a nationwide abortion ban. Oh God, he's so ugly. He's so ugly. Mitch McConnell might get the ugly prize if they were just inside. I'm talking about his inside, but this outside mirrors the inside. So the Supreme Court. This is Justice Thomas feeling like he's all untouchable. Nothing's ever going to happen to me. Clarence Thomas. Oh, he must have been a king in a past life. He was a king in a past life. I get that. Sotomayor. So I can never say that woman's name. Anyway, the woman on the Supreme Court that's more liberal. Sotomayor. I actually feel something coming from her. I'm actually feeling a little bit of a rumble coming from her. Justice Sotomayor. The plot thickens. That's interesting. All right. I'm all intrigued now. I might have to just keep going. All right. I have to see more about that. The Supreme Court is, I see it like it's really rocky. What they're doing is really, really rocky. They're rocking the boat in a massive way. And I just, Clarence Thomas is, he's not gonna, he just wants to dominate and domineer. And so he has no conscience. Alito, oh my goodness, saying abortion isn't in the Constitution. It didn't exist then. The High Priestess, oh, they have some secrets at the Supreme Court. Yes, they do. They have more secrets to be leaked. Well, I'm not convinced that this is going to really work for them because I see female power. I see female power. I do. Now, I'm not going to be all Pollyanna and tell you, oh, it's not going to happen, because it already is happening. Women are losing their rights. Men are exerting control over women's lives. That's what they're doing. That's what they're putting into place. And there's a secret that they're holding. They're going to do something. The Supreme Court's about to do something heinous. I think I'm picking up on they're going to just say, they're just going to throw it to the states. That's what I'm picking up on. So they're not going to not do that. But the women will, I don't know, the guides are showing me the other day, in this horrificness, there's a little bit of a gift. That's clear as day. In this horrificness of the Supreme Court, taking away women's rights, there's a little tiny blessing in disguise in there. I think it's going to backfire. Big time. Big time. 3 more cards about that because it's such a huge issue. Please join Grassroots of Democracy. I'm not asking you for anything. It's not about me. It really isn't. I just organized it. we'll get you on grassrootsofdemocracy@gmail.com. Type AYE in the subject line. That's how they could vote in Congress. It'll feel better for you just to be in the group. You don't even have to show your face. You don't even have to say a word. Just be with us. Just bring your energy to the meeting. Thursday, 7 to 8 Eastern time. And we also meet on Saturdays to get, kind of a hands-on, get work done together. So, all right, this is the nefariousness. There's a lot of dark money in the Supreme Court. The guys just said Russia. There's a lot of dark money. It is all dark money. The Supreme Court is corrupt. There's a lot of dark money in the Supreme Court. Those 5 justices. People, the Ace of Swords is a win for us, and also the Ace of Wands. I want you to do what you can to save women's rights, to save our democracy, because the dark money is being uncovered. And I feel like people are going to wake up. I am not just saying that. It's almost an hour, so I'm going to just wrap it up. I might have to save some of these for tomorrow or the next day. Vote, 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 vote. Every time people tell us vote, 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 I keep coming to, but what if they're not going to count our votes? What if our votes are going to be rejected? So I'm going to pick 3 cards on that. And then I think I'll pick 1 card to get us through the next couple of days. We will overcome the obstacles to our votes being counted. The GOP is going to be reined in. The Empress is we're going to win. We're going to win! We're going to win! We're going to win! I'm not just saying that. Because Sagittarians can be ridiculously optimistic. It's ridiculous. But I feel like we're going to win. I feel like we're going to win. I feel like democracy is on a winning track. We are looking at all the darkness. And it's so hard to look at. Okay, so I'm going to pick 2 cards to get us through the next couple of days. If there's a lot of news, I might come back tomorrow. Or maybe Corey and I know he's really swamped, but if we only did like half-hour shows, it would be simple. But he just keeps going. Likes to talk to the fans. Okay, so the next couple of days, we're going to see some hard stuff over the next couple of days. But the star card is like America's being polished. Like a stone, like a precious stone. You have to tumble it before it gets all shiny. Well, this is resilience training. We're learning how to be resilient. We're learning how to bounce back. The greatest generation that came through, the Great Depression and World War II, they learned resilience. They learned to be strong. They learned to be tough. They learned to not take things for granted. And that's what we're learning. And one of the things that Ukraine has taught us is not to take democracy for granted and how precious it is. So I see the star card is like, we're starting to get it. We're starting to get it. The people have the power. We're starting to understand that the only solution to the Republicans and Putin stealing our democracy, trying to keep us divided and conquer us, we're starting to see that we have the power, that there's more of us than there are of them. And that's the way it is. That's what Walter Cronkite, God rest his soul, said on the nightly news. And that's the way it is. So everybody knows who Walter Cronkite is. He was very famous. That's the way it is. I will see you soon. If you'd like to book a reading, as I said, annettedionpsychic@gmail.com. I have time this week, and I will be doing an additional pendulum class. The last one that I've planned is the 14th, and that's full, but I'll keep you posted if you keep coming back. And please subscribe And please hit the like button. I'm going to try to do my best to say that. No try, just do. I'm going to do my best to say that. Subscribe, hit the like button, and please watch Church of Spirituality. It's uplifting. Okay? Namaste. Love you guys. Thanks for your kind comments. I don't respond because I don't want to play favorites, but I do see them. You're the best. Bye.